What up? Thanks for joining me again on the Too Tall Sports podcast. My guest today is Bradin Hagens. He and I were teammates in the minor leagues back in 2012 and 2013 in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, one of my favorite stops during my minor league career. He went through every level of the minor leagues with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's originally from Central California in the Modesto area, so made his way from Merced Junior College all the way to the big league. So a really cool career, and he's one of the few that hit every level before making it. So he truly earned it. And he's been playing professionally in Japan, and now he's in the Chinese Professional League out in Taiwan also. So great episode talking to Bradin about his career and what it's been like to go through the journey as a minor leaguer. So had a lot of fun with that one. As always, you can call you can call me if you want. You can follow the show at Too Tall Sports Podcast. That's on Instagram. On Twitter, it's at Too Tall Sports. On YouTube, please go over to our YouTube channel. Just type in Too Tall Sports Podcast. Subscribe there. Hit the bell notification and get notified every time we drop an episode, which is Thursday mornings. And usually the videos go up at 9 a.m. Pacific time for YouTube. So please give us a like, drop a comment there. That'd be awesome. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please go to Too Tall Sports Podcast. Scroll down on the episode page. I know it just got updated, the new software update. I get it. It's a little tougher, especially for the older generation. But scroll down, hit the 5-star if you haven't already, so you can help us get more likes and more exposure. If you want to drop a comment on how much you love the show, because I know you love the show, please do that as well, so you can help exposure for the show in that regard. We're on Spotify if you want to listen there. We're on Pandora. We're on Amazon Music, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in Too Tall Sports Podcast. Enjoy the episode with Bradin Hagens, and I'll see you on the other side. Too Tall. Going crazy. All right, welcome back to the Too Tall Sports Podcast. My next guest is a professional baseball player and former big leaguer. He's currently playing for the Rakuten Monkeys in the Chinese Professional League. He played his college ball at Merced College and was a 6th-round draft pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks back in 2009. He is Bradin Hagens. What's up, Bradin? Thanks for being on the show, man.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Long time ago.
I know, right? It's been a very long time. And that's what I was going to tell the people out there. Just for reference, Bradin and I played together in 2012 and 2013, parts of those seasons in Mobile, Alabama, which is AA. And I was going to run through it with him. We played with a bunch of guys. I think over half of our team made it to the big leagues. Guys that probably people know, like Adam Eaton, Trevor Bauer, Chase Anderson, Nick Ahmed, Mike Bolsinger, Bo Schultz, Evan Marshall, Chris Owings, Patrick Corbin, Tyler Skaggs, RIP, Mike Freeman, Matt Davidson, Ender Enciarte, just to name a few. What do you remember about the Mobile teams that we were on in AA?
Oh, man, shoot. I mean, since I was actually repeated again, I mean, you got guys like R.G. Bradley going back. And then, just Chafin there in 13?
Yeah, Chafin was there.
Yeah, you said Chafin. So one of the big things I remember was we had a golfing team with a baseball problem. That's for sure. Yeah. I remember that for sure in 13. Nick Evans and Mike Freeman getting all these golfing squads together. So we'd have, 20 people going out to Spring Hill Golf Club and playing 4-person scrambles to all day.
Oh yeah. No, it was great. It was a great time. We had a lot of talent on those teams. That's kind of what I was surprised about is I think when you get to AA, everybody's got a chance to make it, but yeah. I can't believe some of the names that we had on those teams.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was the next year with David Peralta coming out of any ball. He was a pitcher coming back as a hitter and goes straight to the big leagues out of AA. Same thing like Chase Anderson had done.
Yeah.
Goldschmidt did back in the day. He was there was it 11 or 12 with you? So you're in 12?
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys like that, we had a lot of guys with Diamondbacks that just jumped straight from AA up.
I know, and they all just seem to make an impact on other teams now, which is crazy how it all shakes out.
Yeah.
I wanted to start with your upbringing. So you're from Central California, Modesto area. Were you always a baseball guy when you were growing up, or were you playing other sports as well?
I was everything.
Yeah.
Anything my brother did, I did right behind him. A lot of football, a lot of basketball in the driveway. So, I mean, shoot, grew up riding horses. Count that as a sport,
There you go.
Hitting golf balls in my front yard into our pasture with the horses until I started reaching the neighbor's house, and then I had to stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've played sports all over the place, as many as I could growing up. So,
when did you commit to baseball and like specifically being a pitcher, where you thought maybe that's your future, like in high school, or what kind of player were you in high school?
utility. If I was mainly defender, played center field, transferred out of Denard over to Turlock to go to Pittman High School. I was fortunate enough to be varsity my freshman year. Played center field, a little bit of third base, kind of pitched, but I didn't have a lockdown on it for a long time because the pitching coach, he had said, "Hey, you got some run on your ball when you're throwing from the outfield. Put you on the mound, hold it like this, and throw a sinker." And when I did that, catcher didn't like it very much. So, catcher Spencer Snodgrass is the first one to get worn out by my sinkers in the dirt. So, pretty tough for him.
Yeah. And then as far as going to college and stuff like that, did you have any offers? Were you looking to go anywhere specific? I mean, I know you ended up at Merced College, which is a junior college. So how did you get to Merced?
Chance. I was actually going to be playing college football is what I thought. Broke my collarbone my senior year, first game.
Oh, wow.
So, I just stopped talking to colleges there. And there's some guys that during baseball were like, "Yeah, we're going to go down to Merced, sign up for classes, get out of school." It's like, "All right, I'll join. Let's go." So I went down, ended up signing up for classes down there, talked to the coach, Coach Bradin, and just said, "Hey, I guess I'll just play baseball. It's my next best option." So it's kind of just was fate. God had a plan for me to play baseball, I think, and that's where it just all led me to. So
I didn't know that. That's crazy. So you actually were going to play. Where were you going to go play football at?
it was kind of early. So
okay.
I had been going to recruitment stuff and some
like camps,
quarterback and stuff like that. And I think it was tough for me because Kaepernick was my quarterback in high school. So my junior year, I got slid into receiver and backup quarterback. So I had the options of quarterback or slot receiver was kind of what I was going to do. But I had some letters from, Washington, a couple from Oregon State, Fresno State, nothing too big, but it never really came to fruition because of the whole collarbone thing. So once that happened, it kind of stopped. No more letters came in the mail. So
did you say Colin Kaepernick was your quarterback?
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that either. Damn. There you go.
Yep.
That's awesome. What kind of player? I mean, just to ask about him, what kind of player was he?
He wanted to be Michael Vick in high school, so they called him Kaepernick. But he was really skinny. He was tall, lanky. Didn't want him running, getting hurt. But he would turn on the jets every once in a while and get down to the sidelines so he could scoot. We were pretty darn good in high school. We had a lot of good players. We had a couple guys. Anthony Harding, one of our running backs, went to Fresno State. A couple receivers that went to some smaller schools and stuff like that. But it was fun to say the least. It was growing up, my brother being older than me threw rockets. Like I would probably say he could probably throw the ball harder than Kaepernick. Didn't have the touch Kaepernick had, but growing up with that, catching Kaepernick's passes was a lot easier for me. So those rockets that he threw were fun to catch, though. Yeah.
Have you talked to him since high school, or he just kind of went on?
Not really. We won't go into all that stuff, but
sure.
Yeah, I talked to him a couple times. He came back when I was back. I went to one of the Niners games right after he got the starting gig, and I saw him when I was coming down the stairs. You can look over the players' parking lot right there at their old stadium. And I saw him coming out and he's yelling at him, so it's up to him and stuff. But no, I never really got a whole lot of time to talk to him after that. So.
Yeah, for sure. Not that I was going to spend that much time on Kaepernick. I just figured I'd ask. So you do go the junior college route, and you get drafted after your first year in the 37th round by Kansas City, and you decide to go back. So, obviously you want to get drafted higher than that. What went into your decision there? Was it a no-brainer you're coming back, or was there any chance of you signing then?
Actually, I didn't care about coming back, honestly. I came back because the scout kind of talked to me about what was going on. And I was a late rounder, and he had told me, based on what he was saying, they hadn't seen me until later in the year. He was there scouting a guy from another college, and it was right before playoffs. So we had all of our starters go 3-3-3 to get ready. And luckily their starter went like 7 or 8 innings. And so the scout stuck around. I came in, he saw me, hadn't really seen me. He's like, hey, like what you did out there, going to follow you the rest of the year. They follow me in the playoffs. He's like, hey, I think you got some talent, but we haven't seen you, so we're going to take you really late. And I didn't even know I got drafted. I got a call from one of my buddies. I was working for my uncle's construction company, digging some trenches, redoing a house in Turlock, and my buddy called, hey, congratulations. For what? You got drafted. It's like, oh, cool. Right on. So it was just one of those things that the scout kind of followed me, but he kind of had told me it may be better to go back, and they never ended up offering me money because basically they didn't have enough to convince me at all to go, which I didn't really know at the time. But so it was more of situationally best to go back. I went back and I had fun going back, so I'm glad I did too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it worked out. You went back and you ended up getting drafted in the 6th round by the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that was in 2009. So what was that draft day like versus the other one?
That was actually sitting at the computer kind of waiting. I sitting there with my parents, just hanging out, watching it all go down. I knew I wasn't going to be, a top guy, but I had been told whispers anywhere from like 4 to 8. So I was hoping for the 4, obviously, but a couple guys ahead of me that took that spot. You got guys like Ryan Wheeler and Keon Broxton who are with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
that pretty good talent there. So I'm not mad about it at all.
Sure.
I actually had the White Sox and the Brewers were texting me and saying they were going to take me. The Diamondbacks was kind of an unknown for me, so they just kind of jumped in and snagged me. The only time I had talked to that scout was a workout for the Brewers at the Diamondbacks guys complex. Good old Darryl Brown had me let us use the facility to work out for the Brewers. He was talking to my parents, and that was pretty much the only time I really talked to him.
It is weird how that happens, that like the team you barely talk to ends up liking you the most. I don't know why that is, or they leave you alone or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if trying to play the cards close to the chest or what. But.
Yeah, maybe. So you do sign after your draft day. You start in Missoula, Montana, which is like rookie ball for those that don't know. It's like short season. And then you played in South Bend, Indiana, and Lowey the next couple of years. So what do you think was the biggest difference for you between junior college baseball and then when you got the pro ball?
I was one of those guys who was a starter in college. Starter one day, closer, the outing before the start. It was the throwing every day at the bullpen for me, or throwing, playing catch every day. And because, getting into pro ball, you got these coaches around you that, you think they can make every decision at first. For me, all the pitching coaches, if I play catch and I'm throwing really hard, my stuff's nasty and catching, this guy might send me up. Who knows? Before I really knew the whole process of everything and stuff like that, the biggest adjustment was controlling myself and not trying to do too much. And then was the transition, because we had a pitching coach who took a lot of guys and kind of tried to make them the same. And he was only there for 1 year, obviously, because of what he was trying to do. But it kind of changed me in the way I did things. I was a big sinker ball guy, and probably after about 4 or 5 outings, I kind of lost it. It's just gone. And, with those balls in the minor leagues, they're not the big league balls. They don't, move quite as much necessarily. I went to trying to get some help from him, and he gave me some things to try that he really wanted me to try, and they just didn't work. But it was knowing that I had to do my thing, figure out who I was as a pitcher. And that takes a long time for more guys than you would think.
Yeah, definitely. And I've had it happen, and I was in 3 different organizations. You've been in a few now. So, you can tell the organizations that like to control everything and want to make everybody throw the same way. Or, some of these coaches are just not good for you. You know what I mean? They don't let you just go
Yeah.
out and throw and go with your stuff. You know your body well. You know how to throw the right way, or the right way for you. So do you feel like some guys did struggle with that, where they just couldn't handle, maybe they didn't have enough time in the minors either after the coaches got to them and they just couldn't get back to who they were?
Yeah, I mean, we had a guy who didn't get out of rookie ball that had immense amount of talent, threw the ball hard, but just mentally, he was a high school draft guy. Once he got with that coach a little bit, I mean, there's even a time where, a 2-week hiatus, mental break, so it can happen with guys. And I think coaches sometimes forget that not all coaches, obviously,
Sure.
some coaches, how much of an impact they have and how much they might try to mechanically adjust a guy instead of mentally just kind of propping them up and saying, hey, you're a professional baseball player. You have talent. You're here for a reason. Just trust yourself and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got here for a reason. I'm here coaches are there to refine you, make you better, sharpen your edges, but you got there for a reason. You have talent, obviously. So remember that and use it. That's one of the biggest things you can do as a pitcher, is that confidence in yourself and the talent that you have.
Right. In 2012, you got to play back kind of near your hometown in Central California. You got to play in Visalia, somewhat near home. So what was that like for you to play pro ball and have your family not too far away and play in front of all your friends and family there?
Might have been a little rough at first, and I was a bullpen guy there and didn't start out great. But once I kind of got settled into it, it's probably one of my best years overall. I mean, it was the first time I ever got called up during a season to the next level, the first time at least.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I mean, going up and playing in Modesto. Modesto is 20 minutes from Denair, my hometown. Went to school in Turlock, which is 15, 20 minutes from Modesto. And then people come down to Visalia, going up to Stockton even. Having people there was awesome. It was, I think early in the year, it might have been a touch of a distraction, just wanting to be able to share that with friends and family and stuff like that. And then kind of understanding that this is still work and focusing on that. And then if everything else there's time for, then do that.
Right. I agree with you. Sometimes it's hard to play, or like there are a lot of distractions if you're too close to home. So, sometimes I actually preferred sometimes being away from everybody so I could just focus on baseball and not worry about any of the other getting people tickets and all the other BS. So I can totally agree with you there.
Yeah, I got lucky. My mom, I talked to her decently early in my career because they always came out, and I had no problem getting them tickets. But once we got to, even when I was in Reno playing in Sacramento, it's the same thing. We had 75 people out at one game. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get you tickets. I can get you 25. I'm done. That's all I can do right now. I said, you're going to handle the rest, and it's on you. And she said, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
So then she did the rest of it, and I didn't have to worry about it. So stress-free, easy going.
Yeah.
That's better.
That's good. Nice. I usually talk to other guys that play when like the biggest jump in talent, when you can tell like, okay, this is a different level. So for me, it was going from high A to double A. That's when I could like feel it, because I struggled a little bit the first year when I was in double A. So I was curious to what you thought of the biggest jump in talent was from level to level.
I mean, I think there's different aspects of it. I think the jump to double A is huge, because double A can be a stall out period for a lot of guys who have really good talent. And you see guys who kind of stick there. They go to AAA and they come back just because they can't handle in AAA. To me, that difference was hitters will take advantage of stuff in AAA a lot more than AA, but the raw talent might be better in AA. So you go to AAA and you throw a pitch that's dirty pitch, bottom of the zone, like they should swing at that. And they've taken it and you're like, aren't you swinging at that? Like, man, I would strike myself out every day of the week with that.
Yeah.
And in AA, they're swinging at it because there's just less discipline, but the talent is there in AA. So you might throw a fastball down the middle in AA and it's going to get whacked. And then fastball down the middle in AAA, just fool a guy. Like he's like sitting on something and they're disciplined enough that as soon as they don't see it, they don't swing, and they'll just tip their cap and say, hey, it's over. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. We had a lot of characters on our teams and from Mobile and even just some of the guys that we play with even in AAA too. Do you have any memories of other than I know we touched on it earlier, but any memories from Mobile when we were playing there?
I mean, the rainouts with guys.
Yeah.
We had so many rainouts. I mean, we had days on rainouts where I think Mike Freeman grabbed 4 golf clubs and barefoot and just went out and walked Spring Hill. That was fun. I think we had a couple bus breakdowns, a little bit of 357 on the bus. I don't know how much we can get into that.
Love that, man. Miss those days and playing Hooray and that was all night long.
So we get in the hotel rooms and play some 357, hang out, have a couple drinks if you're of age, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think that it's crazy because you get there in 12 in AA. I felt, even though I wasn't completely young, I felt really young because we had a lot of older talent on that team.
Yeah.
With some of those guys. And man, that was fun though, because you guys had won the first half. So the second half was kind of like, this is just for fun. But once the playoffs, 12 man, I remember guys we had so much fun on the field. And we went up against like Taiwan Walker and who's the big lefty from Seattle at 10.
Paxton.
I mean, when you're out there and you're playing against guys like that and everybody's having fun, hooting and hollering, and to win a series like that when you got like Zunino and those guys on that team. And we had some guys too, obviously, but a lot of the guys that year had gone up too. I mean, Corbin was gone, Bauer was gone. I mean, was Parker there to start the year?
I think that was I don't think he was there 11. That year. Yeah,
but so a lot of those guys beginning of the year that had helped win that first half were gone, and it was a bunch of new guys coming in to help out, and it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah,
but I just remember everybody. I mean, a bunch of goofballs, a lot of fun on that team for sure.
So. Yeah, and we ended up winning the whole thing that year. So it's like, all right, if you're going to make the playoffs and we're going to have to be here, we might as well win the championship.
Exactly. You're going to be in the playoffs. You might as well just win the whole thing, So, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. So you got to play in Reno as well. And then after you hit every level in the minor leagues. And then August 14th, 2014, you get the big call to the big leagues. What do you remember about that day?
I remember on a bullpen that day. I remember being in Round Rock. We just flew out there. And I remember it was a complicated situation. There was a doubleheader that they thought they had an extra guy, and they didn't. It was one of those scheduled doubleheaders, so it's not a 26-man roster; it's a 25-man roster. So they knew they were going to need some depth after in Miami. So Chafin had just went up too, maybe a week before me, and so I think he started the doubleheader in Cleveland. And I remember sitting there, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna call you up, and we're gonna maybe activate you, maybe not activate you. We're gonna see what happens." So it was one of those kind of where you're sitting there waiting. And at one point, I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going back. They're not gonna need me. There is what it is. And no, they ended up, they needed me in Miami for some bullpen help. Wasn't something I had done a whole lot in recent years. I'd been a starter for close to a year at that point again. So, but it was adrenaline takes over at that point, and your mind just starts racing, and just dreams about to come true.
And what do you? I mean, you're only there for a couple games, so at least while you were there, what do you remember about being up in the big leagues? Maybe like your aha moment or anything like that.
In the plane flights.
Yeah,
plane flights. Cool. I mean, getting on a plane and putting your tray down and not having somebody tell you to put that tray up before takeoff, and then walking around saying you want something to eat. I definitely do. What do you got? Just whatever you want. Okay, it's too confusing. Just give me a burger. Let's take a burger. It sounds good to me. Getting on the bus and doing the security thing at the field, going straight back to the tarmac, walking up on the plane. They go entire plane to yourself. And this was before, I think they changed it to where they have like a first class plane now, where all the seats are first class style.
Okay.
It was a Charter United flight, I think. So it was all rows. Guys were laying down sleeping. Then just the brightness of Miami, you know, as I'm making my debut in Miami, as a new field in Miami, it was bright.
It's a colorful ballpark. Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's cool to hear the little ins and outs of the plane rides and stuff. Yeah, none of us regular folk get to do that, so you might as well enjoy it while you're up there, you know?
Yeah, you try, and then the flight attendant tells you to do that, and you're like, but you can. You just don't let us, technically.
Right.
It's all skis, I understand, but, you know.
So, I mean, you would think that's the start of like, okay, even though you got sent down, this is the beginning of your big league career, and then all of a sudden, 2015, Arizona lets you go, and then you get picked up by Tampa Bay. So that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of guys. You can look at it as they gave up on me, or you can look at it as this is a new opportunity with another organization. How did you handle that mentally?
Ooh, at first, really upset. Yeah, because I mean, I knew the reason for the call up, but either way, like I had a pretty successful minor league career for the most part. The higher levels I got, the better I did at that point. I think every year my numbers got better, and the toughest part was probably there's not even a big league invite in 15.
Yeah.
So to play in the big leagues year before, and then the next year to not even have a big league invite kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But we had a whole regime change there. They signed a bunch of guys, and you know, at the end of the day, is what it is. Once I got into camp, didn't worry about it anymore. It was like it's business time. I threw pretty well, but they had signed so many guys. They said, "Hey, you're going to stay in extended. You know, we're going to keep you here because of what you've done for us, but you're not going to break camp." And that's when I got the ass again, and was like, "This is a joke." And honestly, I think I just wanted out of there too. Like, I loved a lot of the coaches and stuff there, and you know, guys like DC and Mike Bell and all that. You know, they treated me so well. They'd done so much for me. But it wasn't necessarily their call even at that point. And just wanted out. I didn't want to be there anymore. And I didn't ask for that. They said that, "Hey, we don't want you here because we don't want you sitting in extended." They actually told me, said, you don't deserve to be here. You deserve to be out playing. So they said, "We're going to try to trade you." And they said, "But nobody's kind of taken the bait yet. So you have to sit here." And I drove home and I told my girlfriend, my now wife at the time, I was like, "Hey, I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere." She's like, she was upset, not happy for me. And then in the middle of telling her, I get a phone call from Mike Bell saying, "Hey, never mind. You got traded to the Rays. You're leaving. When do you want to leave?" And I said, "After Easter." So I got to spend Easter out there. And then it was a new chance, new environment. The one thing I thought I'd never say again was I was going to go back to the Southern League, though.
You had to go to Montgomery, right?
I did. I had to go back to AA, and I thought I'd never be there again, hopefully, but reality check. So baseball.
Man, I hear you. That's for one of the better names in the minor leagues, by the way, the Biscuits.
Oh, yeah.
Did they have a Cracker Barrel right near the field or near the hotel? Loved Cracker Barrel down there.
Oh, and I actually we lived down the road because I mean there's a Chipotle down there, there's a Chick-fil-A down there, there's the Cracker Barrel down there. Everything was down there. We lived kind of in that area. And then when my wife came out, we stayed at that Country Inn Suites next to the Cracker Barrel. So Cracker Barrel is the place to be. Plus, it's good food.
Yeah, it's really good. In Southern California, I don't know if do you have it in Central California? Because we don't have them down here, really.
Never heard of it before until I got out.
Right. All right, so let's talk about winter ball. You got to play in Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. It's a lot different the way they play. It's a little bit more flash, a little more fun down there in the South America and Central America. So how would you describe playing in those countries for winter ball?
Passionate, for sure. Everybody's buying in, having fun. It's not too uptight, but people still want to win, So it's passionate business. People are out there grinding. I mean, especially your foreigners definitely grind depending on where you put up. I feel like probably Dominican was the hardest for me to adapt to. We were in a great place at Casa de Campo down there for the Toros. but you're also isolated. You don't go out and do a whole lot. I mean, can't drive there. Wouldn't recommend it. At least, about 4 cars in a 2-lane on one side. So scooters weaving in and out. So it's fun, but the living down there can be tough if you can't just relax and enjoy what you do have. But yeah, Costa de Campo is beautiful down there in Dominican. So,
would you say what was your favorite place to play of those countries in winter ball?
I mean, honestly, I really enjoy Puerto Rico. Whether it be, it's U.S. territory, so it's almost like everything's very similar out there, but you can drive there for sure. I was lucky enough to go my first year with my wife when we were dating, and we were able to drive and go to a bunch of beautiful places, some waterfalls out to Vieques Island off I think it's the East Coast maybe, where they have the bioluminescent bays where the water lights up.
Oh yeah. And
so, we did these clear bottom canoes out there over the water. So you saw fish darting in the water because it would light up the bacteria or whatever lights up it is. Plus the baseball travel there is easy. And there's a lot of talent in that league too. I think it used to be a really talented league back in the day, and I think it fell off is what they were telling me. And when I went down there, you got guys like Jorge Lopez, who was a big league guy, Kenny Vargas, Bebo Perez playing. We had a lot of big league guys down there at the time. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of good talent down there. And the travel was easy, which made it nice too. The longest drive was 2.5, 3 with traffic maybe. So,
did you get to drive yourself to the games, or you have to take a bus?
No, we drove ourselves.
That's cool.
That's about it, yeah. And then, I was playing down there with Andrew Barbosa, and he actually has family down there. And so he had his own car. I had a car because we're supposed to share for our apartment. So therefore, we had 2 cars in the apartment, and we could just me and Tasha could go wherever we wanted to go and drive over to San Juan and play in San Juan. We could stay the night if we wanted and all that. So it was nice.
That's awesome. You also got to play professionally. You've been all over the world, man. You got to play professionally in Japan. So I've heard they do things a little bit differently as well than we do out here. I just kind of want to get your thoughts on the living situation, what it was like being an American out there, the language barrier. What was that all like for you in Japan?
Our living was good. They put us up in a good spot. More of an American style apartment, so a little bit bigger. Playing out there was awesome. Guys were great. They don't make it too hard on you. I feel like the language barrier could be tough. I know some guys who've gone out there and not enjoyed it partially because of that. But I try to learn a little bit. Certain things you learn pretty easily. And then I learned a little bit of the kanji, the writing and stuff out there. So it made the travel easier on the off days and mornings when we wanted to go get breakfast and stuff like that. We just, head over to the train station, jump on a train or jump on a trolley and go and get some breakfast and kind of explore a little bit, which was a lot of fun.
Now, I've heard their practicing is a little bit crazy, right? So do they do a lot of there's guys I remember, I don't know if it was Daisuke Matsuzaka or one of those dudes that used to throw 100-pitch bullpens before they start.
Before they start, maybe not so much anymore, but spring training, I heard about it again this year, and 300-pitch bullpen is what I heard.
300?
Yeah. And I had seen firsthand at 175. Yeah.
How do you even have anything in the tank after 150? That's.
I think it's the way they go about it. I don't know if a whole lot of guys over there are max effort. But it's the same type of guy who throwing 86, 88. And it's wish I could throw harder. And I said, well, probably could. Just don't wear yourself out as much.
Yeah.
Train, throw harder instead of throw more, and then build up your throwing harder to a bigger period, And I think actually he did for a little bit. He had cut it down. I think by the end of the year, he was touching 90 consistently. And the same guy this year, heard a story, 300-pitch bullpen this year in spring training, first day. Yeah. We had guys, I mean, it was very common for guys to throw probably 500 pitches in a week off the mound over there. And
That's
then,
insane.
yeah, I think it's a little bit of a culture, or not a culture, a little bit of culture shock the way they kind of throw pitches over there. But it might be more of a shock for them when I jump up on the mound and how many are you going to throw? And I say, 25. 25,
So
I'm good.
did they leave you alone and let you stick to your own plan?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they try to. There's mechanical stuff they would help me with for sure, and I'm all for that. Pitching kind of universal as far as what you do. It's not a whole lot of things that are going to be crazy with it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all for that kind of stuff. But they didn't tell me, hey, you need to throw more, or hey, you do this more. Um, it wasn't a whole lot of that. It wasn't a whole lot of forcing me into their kind of way of doing things. So it was nice to be able to do what I wanted to do, still have their advice, all that kind of stuff. And it was fun. It worked. So
Yeah, no, that I can't even believe that. I was expecting like maybe 100 pitches before like bullpen, not 300. That's pretty wild.
yeah, for sure.
So you had a second and a third stint with the Diamondbacks over the coming years, and you got to play independent ball. But as far as just going back to the Diamondbacks, the team that originally drafted you, what was that like when you got to go back to play for them? What was the mindset there? Like, did you think you had a shot, or you just this is a rental and that's it?
Coming back from Japan, I thought I had a shot for sure, but I had the freak injury in Japan. I had cracked a rib somehow my second year over there, so I ended up pitching almost a month with a cracked rib. And I was coming off that injury from that year, so I kind of thought I had a shot, but at the same time, I knew what I signed into. I was kind of signing as an extra guy still. I signed late. I think that was the off season with the Harper and Machado signings being so late, so it trickled down effect for some teams,
Right.
and all that kind of stuff because there's a lot of late signs. So I had signed as an extra guy. They told me that, hey, you're signing as an extra guy. You're going to stay in extended most likely. So I was ready for it, but I knew I'd come off, a good time in Japan. I had a really good year my first year. I had thrown really well my second year for most of it, with some bad luck. So I thought I had a shot, but it was like going home almost, A lot of the same guys were there. A lot of the same players were still there, especially the coaches. Was kind of, they were a little higher in position. A lot of guys had moved up over the years that I had been gone, but so many similar faces that it was just like, did I leave this place, or have I been here the whole time? So I enjoyed going back though. I did. So it was a good move for me for me enjoying it and all that kind of stuff. But I think, yeah, I kind of was an extra guy to them the whole time, and I don't know if I ever really did have a shot. No matter what, I bounced back and forth. I was that phantom DL guy in AAA, starting, relieving. I mean, there's 1 week I had a start, got the win, and then 3 days later came out of the bullpen and got a save. So it was all over the place.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I had a guy on recently that played in Fargo, North Dakota, and I saw that you got to play there as well. So for those of us that haven't been to Fargo, what's it like playing there?
It's a lot more fun than you would think, especially with the coaching staff up there, man. We had Jim Bennett was our manager the year that I was there, but Chris Coast, I mean, he's got a book out. He's the 33-year-old rookie, I think the book's called.
Oh, okay.
He played indie ball up there. Got signed as an older guy. Ended up winning the World Series with the Phillies. Great guy. Yeah, and Anthony Renz was a hitting coach up there. Another great guy. He was a younger guy, I think. I think actually I'm older than him.
You're at that age now. You're still playing.
Yeah, doesn't happen very often that I'm younger than guys now.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great coaching staff, and I mean it's a nice city too. You're up there. It's kind of country city. You got NDSU up there, so they do love their sports. And there's nothing to do in summer with college being out, so they love their baseball for sure. So I had a good time up there.
Nice. And you like the outdoorsy stuff, so that's right up your alley, right?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy. I mean, back in Mobile with Schuster, we go fishing a lot. Blake Cooper, we go fishing a lot.
Oh yeah.
I do the golfing thing quite a bit if I can. But yeah, I like to get outside a little bit. So Fargo's a nice place, although the weather doesn't always allow for it. During
Right.
times when it was still cold. I mean, it was windy and like 40 degrees up there. So I found an indoor golf place, so I was covered.
There you go. Nice. Get some swings in. Okay, so now I wanted to talk about what you're doing now, which is playing for the Rakuten Monkeys in the Chinese Professional League. You're in Taiwan, or what's the city called again? Sorry.
Taoyuan,
Taoyuan. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's it been like for you to play there now that you've been Japan, you've been all over the place, Central America. So what's it like in the Chinese Professional League? Any differences there?
I mean, baseball is baseball. You know, it's fun. Talent level wise, you got some good guys over here. I know they are starting to take some guys from over here over to the MPB over in Japan. I enjoy it. It's a little more the minor league side of things over here is a little bit harder to deal with sometimes, but you just look at it where it's just another step and you just got to grind it out. Sometimes it's the way baseball is. I mean, it's like that in the States too. Yeah, certain places you got to go, certain rules you got to follow, whatever the case may be. That sometimes it's just, you know, you grind through it for the game that you love. But no, it's nice here. They got me in a good place. It's a nice city. Let's see what we got here. Familiar faces. Every once in a while, you know, you see guys here. Name you'll know. Woodall still playing over here.
He's playing?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He went from Diamondbacks, and he was there in 13 with us. He was there in 12, 13. Went somewhere in 14. I think he came over here in 16, 17 maybe. And he's been doing it since. Yeah.
I had no idea he was still playing.
Every day, yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. Fun to travel, and all of a sudden you see guys that you've known from elsewhere, played with before, come out of nowhere. So, yeah.
As far as like longevity of playing out there, do you feel like you can do this for a long time and keep going back there?
I think I could. Whether they let you or not, it's a different story, I guess. Whether it's fully true or not, you got guys who've been out here for a while. Woodall, the guy, Mike Lurie's been out here forever. A couple other guys have been here for quite a few years, but the league is known for a little bit of turnover. So they're getting a little bit longer stint now, but I'm not sure if it's because of the whole COVID thing going on, where they just know, hey, we got to sign a guy and keep him here because we don't know if we can get somebody else, you know? So, I mean, right now we got a COVID thing going on, and the borders are shut down. So any team that wants to bring somebody in, you can't. They closed the borders down a week ago on the 18th. So we had one guy that we signed who got in here last day available, flew in. So it's a little bit harder to get guys. So I think that could be a part of it. Also, originally I had heard that they will sign guys out of like indie ball, bring them over, and hey, you're here for 2 weeks. You got 2 starts. See what you got. And then those starts don't go well. Hey, all right, bring in the next guy.
Damn.
So a little harder to do that now. So I think that's why you're getting a little more length in the contracts. That's what I guess Mike Lurie, the guy who's been over for a while, that's what he was. 2-week contract. And then after that, I think it's even day to day for a little bit. So it's all about performance, and they didn't have a problem letting you go and bringing in another guy. So,
wow. Did they give you a translator out there?
Yeah. We have 3 right now. Okay. 2 in the big leagues, 1 in the minor leagues. Similar to Japan with how they do it. So we have a hitting coach that's an American guy, Charles Poe. So he'll have 1 translator with him, and then we have 3 pitchers. So we'll have a translator with us as we're doing what we need to do. So
I've heard, I forget who told me, but somebody was saying that in Japan, it might have been Bolsinger, or one of those guys that said that you don't shower at the field. You go back to your apartment. Like they do some funky stuff out there, right?
That's Japan for sure. And that is also, well, it's optional here. So Japan for sure, the way they do it on the road is you get on the bus in your uniform, fully dressed, go to the field after the game, jump back on the bus, go back, take your laundry, drop it outside your door. Laundry service comes by, swoops it up, wash it. Next day, drop it in front of your door. same thing. Here's similar. You have the option of showering at the field if you want to, but a lot of guys will just get on the bus, go back to the hotel. But because it is the travel here is not as bad as Japan can be. We have some commuter trips where we will have to commute after the game back here. So a lot of times you'll shower at the field when you get back and then change and then come home to your apartment. Or you'll do jump on the bus, go back to the hotel, shower at the hotel, and then drop your laundry bag, get it back the next day. Very similar. So you can shower at the field if you want to. There's an option. It's just not the most common thing, just because of where your laundry is going to be done at the hotel anyway. So there's no point to shower at the field and then bring your laundry back with you and all that stuff. It's easier a lot to just jump on a bus, going back and shower at the hotel.
Okay, gotcha. As far as mentally, where you feel like you're at in your career, like where do you feel like, what's your thought for the next year or two? Like, where do you think you'll be? What is your plan baseball wise?
I'm 23 in my mind, So, no, I think that's one of the things I learned early from Doug Drabeck and Visalia was got to be a big kid in this game, man. No matter what your body tells you, if your mind's young, it's going to work out a little bit better. So, no, my plan is as long as I can do this, I'm going to do it. I've been blessed with my wife and my daughter letting me go. My wife sacrifices a lot for me to be out here. And as long as I can do it, she said, hey, it's your dream. And as long as you can do it, keep doing it. So, I mean, if I could pitch and play till I'm 40, I'll do it. If someone's going to give me a jersey and give me some money and enough to support my family to do this, then I'm going to do it.
That's awesome, man. Love it. Love the passion. It's great. You still have that after all these years. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
If people want to follow you when you're playing, whether it's social media or online, where can they follow you if they want to check your games and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, the games are a little bit tougher. It's cpbl.com. There's an app for it, but everything is in Chinese.
Oh, right. And it's 15-hour difference.
Yeah, it's 15-hour difference. Yeah. So we were playing when I was a starter. So I was starter here. Now I'm a bullpen guy. Game started at, was it 6:30? I think most of them 6:30. And dedication from my parents, they were setting alarms at like 3:00 in the morning, wake up, watching my starts. I said, there's an archive of the game. You can just jump on there and watch it later. But they were doing it, man. It was crazy. So, when you go online, you can check it out. There is, if you go into Chrome and you do stuff, you can translate the page, makes it easier.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as that, I do social media a little bit. I don't post a whole lot on there, but yeah, sure. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook, the normal ones. Facebook's a lot more of like just seeing how families doing and stuff like that. So
right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, hey, great job. Thank you for being on the podcast with me, and I really wish you the best of luck. And hopefully, you can play till you're 40. So I support that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here.
Hope you enjoyed that one with Bradin Hagens, man. Gotta love the passion. I definitely am rooting for him, man. As long as you can play, keep playing. So if you can get people to keep giving you a jersey and put the ball in your hand, get on the mound, why not? Especially if you're getting paid over there overseas. So my thanks to Bradin Hagens. Appreciate that. It had a great career so far, still going. So much appreciated for my time with him on the podcast today. As always, you can follow me at Too Tall Sports Podcast. That's on Instagram. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Too Tall Sports. Please head over to our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell notification, drop a comment, drop a like, share with a friend. But every Thursday morning, we drop episodes on YouTube. So please check us out there if you want to watch the interviews, because I record them all on Zoom for right now. So go ahead and watch the interviews there. If you're on the audio side, go to Apple Podcasts. You can find me there as well. Just type in Too Tall Sports Podcast. If you could, subscribe first, then scroll all the way down, hit the 5-star. That would be awesome to get us more exposure on Apple. And drop a comment, leave a review. Those help too. We're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. We're on Google Play, Pandora. Wherever you get your podcasts, just type in Too Tall Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, I'll see you again for another great episode next week. See you.